Hey everybody, Happy New Year. Sorry it's been so long, but again, it's a little bit cold out here in Colorado. So I get days where, it gets above freezing, so I'll come out and go ahead and work on the car. But yeah, we're expected to get another 3 inches of snow here in the next day or so. We just had a 6.5 inch snowstorm, so I'm still out here working, trying to make progress. So, at any rate, let's go in and take a look at what I've been doing. So, still working on the front end here, trying to get some of the little details down, getting the structural finishing done. Here you can see I have a little bit of Duraglass with some of my kitty hair that I do with some flakes of carbon fiber, which really helps to strengthen these areas where I do have some issues where the material's getting a little thin or the plastic's coming through the, you can see here where we have the carbon fiber stuff coming through. And if you go too deep, then what you end up doing is going down to the plastic that will melt in the sun and ruin my paint job. So doing this on on those surfaces to try to cover that up, and then cladding it from both sides so it gives it some strength. But as you can see, I've got a lot of the lines, as I showed you last time, on both sides. I've got the lines looking pretty good, and so I have a little bit more to do. Obviously, if you look down the shot lines, there's some waviness in the gaps, so I have to accurately gap everything. But I'm trying to get them as tight as possible so that I can get sand to the possible best gap, which is going to be something like this. For panels that come together, I'm going to try to get them a little tighter. I've seen on some other supercars where those panels look a little bit tighter because they're mounted nice and tight, and so they're not going to wiggle around and rub against each other. So those are the kind of lines I'm going to go for with these panels where they're almost touching. So maybe a 1/16 of an inch or something like that. And then over here, you can see that I'm trying to get the door with the quarter panel here in place, and so I still have to close this gap up. And there's also a little bit of a step here that I'm going to have to fix. The door has a nice tight line that we can open up to get the proper gapping for a panel that opens and closes. And then more work to do here to tighten this gap up so that it's like the other side. The last thing I'm doing is I'm over here with my sail panel. So I had to kind of glue it up a little bit because it had a bubble in it, and so I'm using some panel adhesive to go in there and basically clamp that tight so that the carbon fiber is not pulling away from the substrate, which is steel. And then we're going to sand this down, and then we'll put it back on over here where I've already taped up the this guy right here, the intake scoop, and also the roof up here. We'll put that in. We'll Duraglass and probably put some of that carbon fiber kitty hair there to give it some structure and really tighten up those gaps, and then be able to have a nice reveal line between those two panels. And then also down here on the hood, we've got a little bit of work to do, but there's not a whole lot I can do about this because it's carbon fiber. So we can just clean that up a little bit and maybe do something on the engine cover to tighten that up. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this grill out. I'm going to design a new one that will actually have a flange on it that will fit to the perimeter of this guy right here. So hopefully that'll look a lot better and a lot cleaner than this does currently. And then we're going to have to go and start doing the gaps here where you can see we have some real problems. So I've got to figure out what I'm going to do about this. I'm probably going to have to build up some carbon fiber here to basically close this gap in. And then you can see there's some panel mismatch here that I'm going to try to fix as well. And then we have some more to do on the roof over there. Now, once we do that, I can get onto the rear end of the car and start making sure that I get everything the way I want it there. And this is all kind of just roughing it in, because eventually I'm going to come back through and I'm going to block sand the entire car, making sure that the panels are nice and flat where they need to be flat and have nice good curves to them. And so that way we can start thinking about painting the car. So the first thing I'll do is I'll probably shoot it in some high build primer, block sand that all down, and then we'll shoot the car in some color. So stay tuned for that. So everybody, there's your quick update. I just wanted to get something down so you all knew that I was still cooking on the project. These detail parts just take a lot of time, especially in the cold here, where the body filler and the Duraglass and all of that kind of stuff, it takes a long time to cure properly. So I usually have to do it and leave it overnight, and you know, heat up the garage a little bit so that I can get a good cure on that material, or else it's just going to fall apart. So anyway, if you haven't subscribed, please do. Please give me your comments. Again, I would just want to iterate that I do learn from those of you who have skill and expertise in this area, and it's invaluable information. So thanks again for watching, and hope you have a good start to your new year. Bye-bye.